Hi, and welcome to this video where I will talk to the creators of Death in Space, the role-playing game released on the Free League Workshop, and it's created by Christian Plugfors and Carl Nibleus. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How are things today? Is it hectic?
No. Well, for you it's always hectic when you have your daughter, right?
Yeah.
For me, it's been okay. I've worked, but
yeah,
maybe not like the most hectic workday I've ever had.
All right. You have released this Death in Space. It came. How long was it ago? It was really released as a physical and a digital copy.
Formally, the release date is April 26, I believe.
Yeah. So it's exactly a month or more.
Yeah.
It's been out. Death in Space, it's a role-playing game with a, to me, it's a kind of a grimy look. And can you, as the creators, paint us the big picture of this game and what players can expect from it?
I think it's you, Carl.
That's always my question. Okay. Sure thing. Yeah, so this is a kind of, as you say, a gritty sci-fi game with kind of, it's very rules light, so you shouldn't expect a lot of rules to keep in your head. And it's pretty light on rules, so you should be able to remember most of it all the time. It's set in a universe where there was recently a war over a precious type of gemstone that existed in this Tenebrous system, which is the main setting or the default setting. And in this setting, there was this war, and due to the war, basically all production of new things stopped. So everything is just put together from salvaged parts of other objects, and nothing is new. So that's a core part of the setting. And then in the background, we also have this weird void, which affects people both physically and mentally. And it's a bit unclear what the void exactly is, but that's something for the group to actually decide and define and maybe discover.
Yeah.
And then there's also this rumor that the universe has actually kind of reached its end, and the expansion has reversed, and it's slowly crunching into nothingness. So yeah, that's the setting, and yeah, I would say it's a rules light sci-fi game with some connection to the OSR type of games.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to call it an OSR game or not. That's not so relevant, but it has some relation, definitely.
Yeah. Tell me, when did the idea to Death in Space? When was it born, and how did you come up with it?
I think it was around 4 years ago now, probably. And there was a couple of things that kind of combined. I started making the game from the beginning, and then Carl joined the project. But in the beginning, it was just a couple of movies and covers. The Traveler cover kind of wanted me to make a space game, and I had a kind of, I said to myself that I'd need to start writing every day. So I kind of made myself write 40 minutes every day, and in the end, I kind of had a bare bone 80 pages of something that was Death in Space. So I mainly took just whatever I wanted, and when Carl joined, we kind of got a bit more serious into adding more setting and other stuff that actually made it a lot more better than it was from the beginning. But the core was mainly a couple of movies like Prospect and Outland with Sean Connery. and I like that kind of gritty space sheriffs in chasing bandits. So yeah, it kind of started somewhere there, and I both me and Carl like sci-fi, so it's something we'll love to write.
Yeah. So this started as a creative writing project, and then it developed to more like a structural game project when Carl entered.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess the first thing was I can take it from the really beginning, and I saw like a Netflix thing about design. I think it's called Design Abstract or something like that, and it talked about making your design process as something you do every day. It doesn't matter if you want to or not. You just write as a job, and if you write, you will not have any you will not what do you call it, writer's block or something like that.
Yeah.
You just have a routine and you follow that, and you you write every day, and everything works out fine.
Sounds really good.
Yeah, you don't have any restrictions either. You can just write in the big spaceships that you wouldn't make a movie from. So you can just wildly think, I guess.
Yeah,
that's real nice. Did you have any games any other role-playing games that you were inspired by also?
I guess it started out, I mean, rules-wise at least, from this game called Knave, which is a light, rules-light kind of OSR game. So that's where the rules started out, and then we actually redid the rules from scratch after that. But I guess that kind of set the tone for what kind of rule base we wanted. Something quite simple and somewhat related maybe to these OSR games that are kind of just focused on adventure and simple rules and just get going with the game, basically.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And then I guess during quite early in the process, Mörkeborg came out from our dear friends. And that was, of course, a big inspiration for me, at least, in terms of how you can structure a rule book or an RPG core book for once, and also how you can present a setting in have some kind of setting which is well defined, but still has a lot of gaps to fill in yourself. So it's according to some probably pretty light in the description, but for me that's perfect. Actually, it's evocative and kind of forces you to fill in the blanks yourself.
Yeah, to me it's also very relieving to have a role-playing game where you do not get everything in four color prints like a comic. So you get it, and it's those gaps, as you say, that they are very precious in role-playing games, and it might not be so common nowadays, but at least me, who started out in the 80s, I know the games back then were kind of, it was photocopied sometimes at best, and it was very thin, but you had to fill out everything yourself with your imagination and the collective storytelling.
I really like that kind of DIY feeling where you're really encouraged to do things yourself and really contribute to making things.
And I guess it's also something both me and Carl likes with art and not only text, but that you have not only answers but questions when you look at something. So we don't answer everything, so that's kind of an important thing throughout the whole book, actually.
What do you play yourself when you get some time to play?
Oh, Death in Space. That's
a simple answer.
You've play tested it to death, maybe.
Maybe not, but I would like to,
Yep.
but yeah,
I think we
made
still, both of us have a lot more ideas we want to try out in Death in Space, definitely.
Yeah, sounds really nice.
I kind of play sort of OSR-ish, like the Stockholm Cartel games mainly, actually. Boring answer, but
Yeah, but
kind
that's
of
a
true.
kind of genre, isn't it?
Yeah,
Or
a little bit. It's
kind
our
of-
take on games, I guess.
Yeah. It's
also
very
some
unique.
free league games. Played several of those quite a bit,
Yeah.
and not so much anymore. But a couple of years ago, well, maybe 10 years ago now, I played quite a lot of these story games, these indie games, more focused on drama and intrigue. But that was a long time ago now. Actually, I should pick that up again.
Yeah. You are two creators who, and as I understand now, Christian, you started out the project writing it, and then Carl got into it. Do you agree on everything, or is there stuff in that you have been forced to compromise on?
Well, I think the compromise is a good thing, first of all, because I can be out there. My fantasy is not kind of based sometimes in science,
Which
so
is good.
Yeah, so it's nice. And then we have Carl. That's the other part. So we meet somewhere between. So it's pretty nice to compromise. And I like to discuss and have that principle of if he asks me why I want something and I don't know why, we probably need to cut it anyway, because if I don't have an answer for it, it's probably not that good.
We've debated quite a lot, most of the contents of the game, actually. And it's always this kind of dialogue back and forth. Why do we need this? Do we need this? Okay, you say that. Okay, could you elaborate a bit more? Could you explain why this is important? Yeah, so we actually had a lot of discussions, but we always reach some compromise that we both like.
Yeah, and the funny thing is actually when we reach a compromise, we switches. Then I actually take your side and you take my side.
That's true. Then we kind of exactly switch roles and have the debate again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that might be. Could you agree on that 1 + 1 in when it works in the creative process is more than 2? It's like a synergical effect.
In some ways, it's in terms of the work you need to get something done. It's maybe not true, or maybe it is true that you need a bit more work actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this game has really benefited from us both contributing. I couldn't have made this at all like
Same.
this myself. So
yeah,
it's really nice to have somebody actually that also care about what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, nice.
It's just really nice to be able to have someone to debate every single thing with, because we know that we both care as much about this thing.
Yeah, it's easy to ask yourself, what the hell am I doing? If you're all alone with your project, it's all in your head and in your document, I guess.
At least somebody is pushing it forward also.
Yeah.
So when I think I'm done, Carl said, "Oh, maybe we should make more over," and that is,
Yeah.
When Carl think he's done, I'm gonna say, let's change that.
That's the strength of being a group, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What makes Death in Space different from other space horror sci-fi role-playing games?
Yeah, that's always a
hard question.
Hard question. Yeah, thank you.
I think one thing is that we have this setting, which is, of course, unique to this game, because we made it for this game specifically. So much of the game actually is about, or much of the rules and the tables and everything in the book is actually about reinforcing and supporting that setting. So that's, I guess, one thing that if you like this setting, you're probably going to like the rest of the game. And apart from that, I guess, I don't know, we have some things that are, I don't know if anything in itself is that much different from other games. You could probably always find some other game which has every part, but it's the usual thing with when you construct something creative, that in the whole of what you have created is something different than the parts themselves. So even if you have each part, you can find each part somewhere else, you probably can't find something that is the whole thing somewhere else. So yeah, I don't know. It's a hard question too, because it's very hard to see the game from an outsider perspective.
Yeah.
We're of course on the inside, and yeah, it's hard to imagine what you might see as different.
Yeah. For me, by reading especially reading the introduction, I get the feeling that you put a lot of focus in the character's daily life. It's not the heroic space sci-fi game. It's more focused on the daily life and what's happening between exploration and combat. Of course, you have combat and combat system and rules as well, but I get the feeling that you are especially in love with that part of the game.
That's a good observation, right, Christian?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I could make a game about nothing, I would probably do it.
Space is the biggest nothing we have, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So that's but yeah, absolutely. I mean.
Could you describe a ordinary day for an ordinary character? There is a hub. They live in a hub, and could you describe something about that and how a day works in a setting in this as you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Can you?
A day in the life of a nothing space character. So the hub is the space station or spaceship that the character and the characters and the crew live in, their home base. So I guess the first thing that happens in the day is you wake up in your bunk bed. Probably you have a few others in your crew sleeping close to you. Maybe you get up, you have some kind of processed food from a tube or something. Maybe you drink some kind of weird drink made from engine oils or something.
and probably you knock the gas meters and see, okay,
exactly.
It's soon empty. We kind of need more gas for this.
Exactly. Okay, so then you gather your crew and sit around in the tiny little mess that you have together and discuss, okay, so how should we get more fuel? We desperately need more fuel to run our hub. Okay, we have to get out there, dock on the Iron Ring, meet up with the local boss and see if they have some kind of service we can do for them to get some fuel.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe they have the idea that we should sabotage this other rival of theirs and their operations. Maybe they're in charge of some kind of computer systems, and you should find somewhere to plug in and hack that computer system and sabotage it. And if you do that without being caught, then you get some fuel that you can fill up your gas tank with.
And then after a while, you probably have fuel enough, and you can start adding modules and new stuff for you, and expands your operations for something more.
And then at some point you're annoyed by this weird tapping on the hull from outside that you've never really been able to understand where it comes from, because there's just space outside. And why is something or someone tapping on the hull? Because it's obviously some kind of rhythm that is not just random. But yeah, then you forget that because that happens every day. So
Okay.
you can't focus on that.
And it's also a lot of repairing, isn't it? Repairing
Yeah.
cables, broken cables, connections that needs to fit, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
And probably,
sure.
and probably, sorry.
Sorry, you go.
No, probably after a couple of weeks, after repairing your ship for a long time, you do one mistake, and
Yeah.
that's the end.
My
of your
personal
life.
vision of this is I've been into the music with electronic, this Eurorack stuff,
right.
and there's cables everywhere,
stuff.
and you
Yeah.
stick them somewhere, and you don't really know what's going to happen, but something starts beeping, and then you stick it somewhere else, and it stops
That fits
beeping.
great.
Yeah. It's a picture I have in my mind of your world here.
Absolutely. I mean, I think we always, when we write, or maybe it's just me, I don't know. But I start adding wires everywhere, and and I'm a big fan of just a messy tech.
Yeah,
I really like the Eurorack analogy. I mean, I'm both scared of and dreaming of Eurorack as a hobby because I don't want to get into it, but at the same time I love it.
Yeah, it's expensive and you don't know what you're getting into.
No.
It's scary but nice. Well, then we have the void, and you get void points. How do you get void points? What do they do, and how do you spend them?
Well, you when you fail a roll, when you do a check or something like that, you get a void point. And that void point is something you can have 4 void points. Max is 4 void points, so you can use one of those void points to activate a cosmic mutation or to get an advantage when you roll a check or something like that. And the advantage is using 2 D20s, and you pick the best one. Or if it's a disadvantage, you take that one.
Yeah.
So yeah. And if you and if you kind of fail that roll, that check when you have used a void point, there's a chance of you getting a void corruption, and that can be bad sometimes for you. So I guess did I miss something, Carl? Probably did.
No, not really. No. So the point is like when you fail a lot, you will fail, obviously, in what you're attempting to do, but you will also gather up these void points, and then you can come back, even stronger, spending your void points to get a big bonus on your rolls, and then you actually succeed. So it kind of creates this dramatic arc where you fail a lot, and then you come back and actually succeed a lot. But at the same time, if you gather up too many of them, you might end up with these corruption effects when you spend them.
All right.
If you're unlucky.
That's the void is the mystical part in this. This
the
universe.
Undefined mystical background. Noise. Yeah.
Well, I have only one last question about the system, or the what's in the game, and that is why did you get any reaction? I saw in the equipment list you have a Starköl. Have you had any questions from international audience about what that is?
No,
surprisingly, no questions.
No,
no. But
that's one of the things we have debated a lot, actually.
They just they Googled it probably, or the guys.
Maybe, Actually, I don't know. I was really expecting someone to ask about it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And then a Swedish guy asked about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Me.
Yeah, exactly. So no one in the international world.
Yeah. Well, it's a really nice game for adding a lot to the sci-fi genre of a role-playing game. I think it's really, you can really feel it, and the balance there between what you have to fill in with your imagination and also the content inside the game. It's really nice. And do you have any reactions from what do you have for reactions from the international audience so far?
Surprisingly, some people actually understand what we wanted with the game. So, because as Carl said before, you're so just looking in for how to say it. Now I lost it.
But it's hard to understand how people can view it from outside, and it's really hard to understand if people outside actually understand what you're trying to do. And I think we've seen a lot of examples where people actually do understand this, which is a really cool experience, actually.
But you have also,
I think we've had some nice reactions.
You have also been working with this. It's a very personal project. It feels like it's not big forces of it's only you two and your creation. It's not those big actors going into the project and making it more commercial or anything. It feels very personal, and that's it's really nice, I think. What's your next step? Will you release more material in Death in Space?
Yeah, I hope so. We made the game for a springboard for us to make more stuff for it. So and right now we're working on 2 pamphlets and a little adventure and some other stuff. I guess, Carl.
yeah, sure. Working on some tables and generators, to generate content. I think we both have ideas for things, a lot of ideas for things we want to do. It's just a matter of actually completing them. I think we both like to write adventure modules and like content that you can use in your campaign. That's at least what I like a lot, personally, from other games.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think about online gaming? Is this, do you play role-playing games online, or is there a module for example Foundry or Roll20 or anything like that?
Yeah, I think we have McClintock. I can't say his
name. A member of our Discord, actually. He has created a Foundry module, or what it's called. I don't use Foundry myself, but it's there, and I think it's free. So that's free for everyone. Or I guess you need to pay for Foundry, but as long as you've done that, you can use the module. It's so that's there. I don't play a lot of online myself. I have done. I think we all did during the pandemic. I actually prefer to do it physically together. But I think it's really something to keep in mind all the time when you're making games these days. Actually, you can't just ignore it. I think we've maybe none of us are really the best people to make online modules, maybe, or for these online tools. But we're really happy when people help us out and do that.
Absolutely. I mean, awesome. I kind of like working, not working, it's not work, but playing online. It's just because of the time you gain of traveling between between sessions. And people that can't play, you can play with other people that have even less time than yourself. So that's pretty nice.
It has some really huge benefits, definitely.
Yeah. Sometimes it's the only way if you want to play. It might be between that or not playing at all. So So that's nice. It's really nice to hear that there is a Foundry module. So people out there who have Foundry, just check it out, because I know I have Foundry, I own Foundry, and it's a really nice way to play. There is this video chat system and stuff, and you have the character sheets and dice and everything inside Foundry. So it's a really nice way to play. And I think that was the last question, and let's wrap this up. And I will say to the audience, check this out, Death in Space. It's on DriveThru RPG and the physical copyright. It's
Yeah,
and
you can find it in the Free League web shop, but also in other shops.
yeah,
So
Awesome.
check out your local store.
yeah, check out the local store first. And thank you very much, Carl and Christian, for participating in this interview. And I wish you all the best in
Thank
the
you.
future, and hope we can see more of the space horror genre from you. And you, the audience, please subscribe if you want, and check out the webpage of Death in Space and Free League. They will be in the description. And let's continue our Friday night here. I hijacked you from your family and friends, I guess. So
yeah, I'm probably going to go and sleep now, I guess.
that's a good thing too. Okay, thank you very much, and
Thank you.
Thank you.
goodbye.
Bye-bye.